So, my old phone, a OnePlus 9, broke because of my stupidity. And that's fun. As a result, I chose to pick up a new phone, that being an iPhone 13 Pro. However, that didn't last long because within a few days of use, there were display issues. So I ended up returning and noticed that the S22 lineup was coming out soon. And so I chose to pick up the S22 Ultra. The first thing I noticed when I got the phone is that this thing is huge. For some reference, my OnePlus 9 had a 6.5 inch screen. This thing's coming at 6.8, 6.9 inch. And with that size increase, you're going to get a noticeable weight increase. And this thing is hefty, coming at 220 grams compared to the 190 grams of my OnePlus 9. And in terms of design, I like it. I like the rounded corners. I like the rounded edges of the phone. It makes it easier to hold compared to the iPhone 13, which had boxy edges, which makes grabbing with one hand very inconvenient, sometimes not very comfortable. I gotta say, unfortunately. The only things I do not like about the design of this phone is where the selfie camera is placed. That's a nitpick. I'm pretty sure a lot of people like it. I personally am just way too used to the top left corner punch hole camera on the OnePlus 9. And I also do not like curved screens. That's just me though. However, it has not hindered my experience with the phone. It's a great phone. It's just I do not like curved screens. Just a personal preference. Speaking of the screen, this thing is bright and vibrant, and it's beautiful. That's to be expected from Samsung, who makes some of the best panels and displays in the world. Not you, shoo. The 120 hertz LTPO panel once again allows refresh rates up to 120 hertz and down to as low as 1 hertz, depending on the application and use, which allows it to conserve battery better. And in terms of battery, I've averaged about 8 to 9 hours in the 2 days of use I got out of this phone, which is pretty damn great. It's not iPhone 13 great. It's not iPhone 13 Pro Max great, but it's great. It's probably better than most Android phones out there. It's definitely better than my old OnePlus 9, that's for sure. And honestly, I used to be skeptical because I used to panic charge my OnePlus 9 a lot because I don't charge my phone overnight. So I'd get up in the morning, see that my phone's at 10%, wake up, put on the charger, and it's up to 100% within 30 minutes, let's say. But with how good the battery is on the Samsung S22 Ultra, I really do not feel a need to panic charge. You can get it up to, let's say, 60%, and it'll be fine for most of the day. And that's great. Unless you're using for heavy use, in which it may be an issue. But for me, it wasn't an issue. But the main reason I chose to pick up the a Samsung a third time was because of the camera system in the back. Not only did they get rid of the camera bump, it has some crazy specs and performance to go alongside it. For some background information, I do photography and film as a hobby of sorts. I don't do anything professionally. So I gotta say, bringing a camera and a tripod everywhere is very fatiguing. It feels like an exercise. And not to mention it's also very unnecessary depending on where you go. You're not bringing a camera and tripod with you in a restaurant. That's for sure. So, what's the next best thing that you have? Your phone. You'll always have your phone on you, unless you don't, but that's a different story. And for what this thing can output from such a pocketable device, it's amazing. For some frames of reference, I got my mom's phone, which is also conveniently a OnePlus 9, and compared it to the S22 Ultra in its 108 megapixel mode in 3x4. I also took it up a step and I compared it to my main camera, which is the Lumix G100 by Panasonic. Yeah, that's going to be fun. As you can see, the S22 Ultra's photos are much, much brighter. However, the OnePlus 9 looks much more true to life. And depending on preferences, you may prefer the OnePlus 9 camera better. But for me personally, I do like how much better the S22 Ultra's photos looks. I've always been a fan of more colorful photos, but that's just me, once again. I also have shot these photos with the detail enhancer before, but I did not like the outcome of it. As seen here, it kind of makes things look very overexposed, which is something I do not want out of a camera. However, I have heard that Samsung does improve camera stuff through software updates. So maybe this thing will improve in the future and make things look much better. And I'm all for that. In terms of comparisons to my G100, yeah, it's obviously not going to compare because the camera has a bigger sensor and very specific lenses made for it to use. However, I'm very impressed with the S22 Ultra. Photos look great. You might not get as much detail zooming in, but they look great. That's all I could say. You can even make 10 times zoom shots with ease with this phone. And for such a pocketable device, that's a great thing because it prevents the need to buy not only a main camera, but 3 different lenses, which I do use. I have 3 lenses for this camera. So not only do you have convenience, you save a lot of money doing so too, for almost the same quality, for what I think is the same quality. And in terms of performance, it's to be expected from an expensive flagship phone. It's smooth. That's it. In terms of benchmarks that I've seen, the Apple A15 Bionic is much better than the Snapdragon 8th Gen 1, whatever it's called, for Android phones. But in real world applications, you won't really notice it much. In the games I play and the applications I use, I get a very consistent, smooth FPS, and it's nothing that I wouldn't see that I would get on iPhone anyway. So there's not that much of a difference personally. Now the real kicker is the S Pen. Actually, I was never a fan of taking notes on the phone. I never was really interested in the Note series at all either. But I gotta say, this thing is cool. Once I found out what it could do, like I've been talking about the camera especially, and I realized that you can take photos with the S Pen. You can remotely take photos with the S Pen. So as you can see, I took a photo here with on the portrait mode of the S22 Ultra and remotely took it with the S Pen in hand. No help needed. And not only it makes things much more flexible, but you also have a lot more freedom to do things, which is great. Because not having people to help you with stuff is very, how do I say this, inconvenient sometimes. A lot of people won't make use of this, but I'm glad it exists. With that, those are my first impressions of S22 Ultra. I would have made a more comprehensible review, but I'm not very great at that. Not only that, I don't not have the time. And I will also make more videos like this, but I do not have the money as a 20-year-old. I just so happen to have gotten this phone because, insurance and trade-ins. A lot of promos. But, that's kind of it. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe. And I also do stream on Twitch. The next stream is hopefully going to be Elden Ring once that comes out, or it is out already and at the point of making this video. But I'm having performance issues, but that's besides the point. But I hope you'll come by and watch me cope, seethe, and mauled. Yeah. Thank you for watching.